I'm always so impressed with that.
I use it there. Lovely.
I saw you because I could still see you in the little thingy. Hello, everybody, by the way. Welcome to our live this evening with the fantabulous Gemma Weir.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Sorry, I'm just drinking my bit of product placement there. McKenna Bud.
I've got a Budweiser in one of our documents recently, and Brunette commented, she's like, who the fuck drinks this shit?
There you go, look. It's about as good as us at football, to be fair.
Yeah, is that. Now, Gemma was just telling us how she is the cherry popper to our showing our faces live on.
Yay. If I lick the screen, does that make the pair of you mine? Because, you know, that's the rule, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not actually, to be completely honest, the thought of actually trying to get my tongue onto my laptop camera. There you go, look.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Brilliant. So let's go. Let's talk books. What are you writing at the minute?
I am writing, it's called Smolder. It is book 4 in my Montana Mountain Protector series. I literally just started it this week, and I just passed 10,000 words today. So, yay me.
Fuck off.
Yeah, I said wow, but that's what I meant. Fuck off.
Do you know what? The first 10,000 words are always the easiest for me. I don't know why. First 10,000 words go super, super, super quickly. And I just got an office. Like, I have an office in my house that in theory is where I work from. In reality, it's the most, I have no productivity in that room. I used to have a spinny chair. I would sit and spin. I'd look out the window. I'd play with the books on the shelves. I would do nothing. And literally 2 weeks ago, I became a proper official adult and leased an office unit. So I have a gemmaweir.com office, which is odd. But I have never been more productive in my life. Like, nobody goes there. I have the door with a lock. I have a really comfortable spinny chair and energy drinks and nothing but me. And I have never done so much work in such a short amount of time in my entire life. It's a game changer.
Amazing. So it's apart from your house, or is it on the same property?
Oh, no. It is about a 10-minute walk from my house. Literally just down the road, but it is not where any of my children or my husband are. And it is.
I mean, that sounds amazing. Because, I mean, I've got an office at home. But the last time I used it was probably like never.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it's because it's just I get, because you're constantly like, oh, what could I be doing while you're at home? Like, I'm sure I could be doing something.
Yeah. 4 kids, husband, dog, cat. Somebody always wants something from me. And now I go to work. It's really weird. Like, I've been writing full time since COVID. COVID was when I signed my publishing contract and officially became a proper, jobbing author. And I have never, ever, not since that point, at any point sat in my office at home and worked. I work in bed, I work on the sofa, in the garden, but in the car, regularly in the car. Yes. 4 kids, I'm always taking them somewhere or waiting for them to come back from somewhere. So the laptop, me and my laptop are legitimately surgically attached. We've bonded. And yeah, so it comes everywhere with me. So this is the first time in coming up to 4 years now, well, just over 4 years, where I have gone to work, which is just
feel weird.
It's lovely. It's so nice. I sat literally the other day, my other half dropped me off and he was like, right, I'll see you later. And then someone rang me and they're like, where are you? I'm like, I'm at work. And they're like, what do you mean you're at work? I'm like, no, I'm at work. I'm at work. I have an office. I'm a grown up.
Hours. I like it.
Brilliant.
It's amazing. Apparently they're putting a sign on my door. I love it. It's literally, it's the weird
You know
thing.
what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to put a sign on my office door.
You need a picture next to your office door, like a.
Well, The weirdest thing is, it's like the most eclectic building. So it's like a really old-fashioned building where the floors are all higgledy-piggledy and it's all over the place. And in the building is like various other companies. So literally directly opposite me, there's like an energy efficiency company who I've only seen twice. Luckily, one of those times was when they carried a really heavy chair up the stairs to my office for me. But then I have a tattoo artist downstairs, and there's a nail lady just over the corridor. So it's like a weird, eclectic mix of things that I might need. So having a bad day, go and get my nails done. Pissed off, go downstairs.
Great.
All hell breaks loose. I'm opposite the police station. So, but trying to explain to the various eclectic businesses in the building what I do is really odd, because they're like, "Oh, are you moving in?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm moving in." And what do you do? I write porn, and then I can't help it. I have to say it. It's like my inner arsehole just sort of bursts out whenever people ask me what I do for a living.
It is funny to see the reaction, isn't it?
Yeah. Then I'm carrying books up, and I've got a big tub of sex toys, which are like giveaways left over from Peterborough when we were there. So yeah, so weird conversations all around. But they, apparently I don't make enough noise to piss them off.
Rachel Clune, hey girl. She says it's bloody fantastic porn.
Thank you, Rachel. I agree. It's good porn.
I mean, I have to agree as well. It is bloody fantastic porn.
The book that I'm writing at the moment is a trope I haven't written in ages, and I mean I haven't really said anything about this book. So we've got huge size difference. She's a curvy girl, tits and arse for days, and he is really, really into it. And it's sort of a weird twist on friends to lovers. So yeah, loving it. Haven't written that trope in ages, and I am really enjoying it so far. Really, really enjoying it.
Isn't that great though? That moment where you're writing a book and you're like, God, I really love my characters. I mean, it's not always the case, like you like your characters, but like sometimes you're just like, oh man, I just wrote a character, and all I did was write a text.
Just one sentence. Oh, I've read it.
Sentence, and I was like, oh, I really like him.
Yes.
I've literally just finished reading that chapter, because once she's finished, I'll read, and then I'll go on to mine, and then she blah, blah, blah. But I've just finished reading that chapter, and I commented on that particular line because I know exactly where it is that you fell in love with him, because I just did too.
Yes. I don't have that moment with all of my characters. Like you say, sometimes you just hate them. Like sometimes they're just really, really annoying.
Yeah.
Considering we hate them, we are not in control. I'm certainly not in control of my characters. They go rogue so much.
There's one that pisses me off at the moment. She's a whiny bitch, and she's been pissing me off.
Isn't it always the girls though? Do you not find that? Like, I always find it's the girls, because I just want to just open your legs and say, come on then, love. And then they're going, oh no, we mustn't do that. It's wrong. Get away, get away. When in reality, you'd just be like, legs akimbo, let's go. Like,
yeah, like, sort your shit out, woman.
Yes. Why are you saying no when you very clearly mean yes?
Yeah.
Exactly that. Jem Preston says she hopes your inner asshole doesn't burst out, Jem.
Me too. I think that'll be very comfortable, especially in this heat.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
Ow.
Visit to the ER. Sure.
Nikki Morant says she loves it. People's reactions must be the best bit. I mean, she's not wrong.
Yeah, the blubbering, right?
Like I've frozen.
Oh no, you're fine for us.
Oh, there you're back. You're back, I think. There we go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were fine for us.
Yeah.
You know what? People's reactions are we had to have our roof replaced on our house the year before last, and the roofer that came and did it was sort of a friend of a friend, and he is a Mormon. Now, I'm from quite a religious family. I'm not particularly religious, but Granddad was a vicar. My dad's side of the family are all regular churchgoers, very religious. And he was the roofer was saying he knows what I do for a living because, like I say, he's a friend of a friend. So he's like, you write books, don't you? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, do you tell people? And I'm like, well, And he's, yeah, but aren't you ashamed? And I'm like,
what?
You're like, and I'm like, no, I quite enjoy the fact that I write porn for a living. Thank you very much. Perhaps I should give your wife a book so she can get some good ideas. And I'm like, oh my God, Gemma, I can't believe you just said it. But sanctimonious Mormons, not feeling it.
No, I mean, if anything, I mean, because I'm a member of I'll speak in a moment. I'm a member of an amateur dramatics group.
I've seen.
Fucking love it.
Awesome.
I've been like a member for like almost 20 years. It's ridiculous.
And you're so retiring. Where does that come from?
I know, I've got no idea. But when when we released our first book and I told them what I was doing, they were all like, I didn't tell them about it to start with. I just said, you know, I'm writing a book, and oh, cool. And then I said it's released, and oh, come, you know, bring some in. We'll read it. I was like, don't know if you will, but I'll bring them in, and I'm actually proud. I'm proud of it, like of writing it. I don't know why there's no shame in writing it. I think it's fucking brilliant in doing all the sexy shit. I mean, they take the piss out of me every fucking week. Whenever anyone mentions some sort of comment about some innuendo, it's like, oh, Sarah will know all about that. I love it. I thrive on it. I think it's fantastic.
My parents are so proud of the fact that I write books. My mom has read some of them, not many of them. But they tell everybody what I do and the fact that, you know, but they have like my parents are in their 70s. So they have like a group of friends that they were friends with from their like teenage years, and they still see each other every single New Year's Eve. They spend New Year's Eve together religiously without fail. And when I first published my first book, my mom was so excited that she told all of them. She's like, oh, wow, Gemma, she's written a book. It's absolutely amazing. She's published and she's doing really well, and we're so proud. And a couple of friends of hers went out and bought it, obviously wanting to be supportive, which is lovely. And then the following year, 12 months later, she said, my mom's friend came and she went, oh, I've read Gemma's book. And Mom went, oh, have you? What did you think? She was, bit spicy for me, bit spicy. Like, killing 70-year-old women one person at a time.
So the first time I wrote a book, the first book I published, my mother, proud as can be, she was my biggest supporter. She tells my grandfather on my dad's side, and he's 93, I think. And at the time, because I started about 10 years ago. So, I mean, he's like an over 80-year-old guy. And she's like, here you go. Here's Vero's book. And so, yeah, my 80-year-old grandfather read my book. And I was like,
my husband has not read a word I've written. Not a single word.
He doesn't need to. He lives it.
Mine either.
Mine says he doesn't want to know. Like he has no interest in knowing what's going on inside my head.
My other half sometimes sits on the other side of the sofa, because obviously I sit on the sofa while I'm working. And me and Brunette will often be talking and plotting, and he just sits there just listening in and typing it up every now and then. And when we do our read-throughs to each other, we read it, the whole thing out loud like you do. We read it all out loud when we're done to each other, and he'll sit there listening. And when we stopped, he's like, oh, don't stop. I was enjoying it.
No, the best part is when he actually acts out the scenes with Blondie. Because we're like, wait, is this possible?
That's a whole different kind of friendship.
I mean, there's been a time where I was on the sofa with my head hanging off backwards, like legs like in the air, and trying to see if something in particular could work, like, if I could get to his balls or something. And
love it.
He's like, yeah, it's possible. I was like, okay, yeah, all right, let's do it.
Move to the left. Put your arm up there. Foot on the settee.
There's been some against the wall ones as well that we've had to demonstrate to see exactly where hands and body parts would go to make it work.
Yeah, that's how we do them.
Oh, I can show Puppy this week. It's the puppy. It's Maximus.
I bet he's absolutely boiling, isn't he? Look at all that fur coat.
He's just had a haircut, bless him, so he's a little bit cooler. Hi, my puppy. So this is Polo.
Yeah.
But, Rachel Clune said, how can they not read it?
Some things are better left unsaid, and I think that's I mean, it's probably best mine doesn't know what I write about. In his head, he actually thinks it's loads dirtier than it really is. Like he,
my other half does as well.
Woman thing, because men are very visual. Do you know what I mean? Like they literally need sort of dicks and cream pies, and whereas women aren't like that. Yeah, like they need very sort of visceral, and they need all the sound effects and like all the moaning and the groaning, and it's got to be as fake as physically possible. Where women, that's why we like to read books, because we can create our own images in our own head. We don't need someone to literally spell it out for us.
And I like the build-up. The build-up I love the build-up.
I do too. Sometimes I'm disappointed when like they're actually like once they get together, I'm like, okay, now I know where it's going.
Yeah,
but,
I feel
it's like, but that whole build-up, like, is it him? Is it not him? Is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? I love that, and not necessarily the angst, but like the build-up.
My heroes know. They know from first glance. So I very rarely get this sort of build up, but I like the push and pull.
Yeah, but with yours, there isn't necessarily there is build up with some of them, but then but the men always know, and I love that they know. But there is, it's never like the ones where when they get together, that's it. Then there's a third act breakup, and then that's it. We're back together, and it's done. It's not that. Which is why I think they work so well.
Thank you.
I would like to see the next one, though.
You'd like what? Sorry?
I'd like to see the next one, though.
Well, I'll send you, if you've got time to read it, I'll send you an arc of the one that's out next week. Because I have a book coming out next, whatever the 25th is, Thursday. It's usually a Thursday. I like Thursdays for release days.
The 22nd.
We do Thursday releases as well. All the time.
Yeah.
And that's mainly because I do Revelers, my dramatics group, on a Thursday, and our whole slogan is Revelers do it on a Thursday.
Excellent.
That's it.
I like Thursday. I've always had good Thursday releases. If I try and release on a day that's not a Thursday, it's always a disaster. So Thursdays are good days. I like Thursdays.
Oh, so that's superstition then for you.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Excuse me.
I didn't even hear you, Blondie.
Did you not? Because I've got a microphone now. We've leveled up. We've got mics.
And look how big.
And brunette sounds very sexy when she talks in her mic.
I really do.
Right, so we are going to start with a read. We're going to read 2 chapters, one from The Rich One and one from The Lie That Traps, which is on my phone.
Do you know what's really bad? I read the chapter from your book and didn't even think about reading the chapter from mine.
I mean, I think it's actually one of these, isn't it? But rewritten.
It is, yeah. The Lie That Traps and The Truth That Frees is a revamped, rehashed, reimagined version of the Spare 1 and 2 and the Air 1 and 2. But now
The Lie That Traps. The Lie That Traps is the Spare
one.
The
Lie That Traps is the Spare 1 and 2, and then The Truth That Frees is the Air 1 and 2. But the Lie That Traps, I added like 20,000 words, and
I thought you did, which is why I thought I'd leave this aside and not read from that.
Yeah, well, don't. The characters have all changed. Don't read from that one, because I'm not really looking at that one.
I've downloaded it. It's good. We're cool.
I'm glad you have, because I really didn't even think about doing that, which is... I'm so organised. I downloaded yours. Look, I've got yours on my phone. But not...
Also, just like a little... Did you see our pretties?
Yes.
I saw. They're so pretty.
Are they?
edges as well, or
Are they what?
They've not got the edges done too yet.
Not yet, no.
They're so pretty,
aren't they? We're hoping we're gonna have a look into getting like a few with some fucking awesome edges.
Hey, if you find anyone that designs them, can you throw their number? Oh, you got printed end pad. They're pretty. I feel like I've done nothing this year than try to handle special editions. I feel like
it's a hot topic right now. So yeah,
it is. I was hoping to have red, sparkly, and all that jazz, and then China decided they were going to have an embargo on things they classed as porn, and mine definitely classed as porn. So that put a bit of a kibosh on all the sparkly. So I honestly feel like I've done nothing this year than try to sort out special editions. I managed to get some in the end. Mine are like the holographic rainbowy ones, like yours, and they are really pretty, to be fair. But I just placed the biggest book order I've ever placed in my entire life. It was absolutely terrifying.
Yay!
You know when you sit there and hover over the buy button because you're like, oh god, this is a lot of books. Yeah, it was a scary amount of books. Most books I've ever ordered in one go ever, and I still have more to go. It's lots of books.
That's pretty much exactly how I felt when I was ordering our books for Book Bash, and like I ordered them all in one go, and the payment for it was like fucking atrocious.
I just spent $4,000, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh my god!" And that isn't even my specials. I still have to order all my standard books for Rare Edinburgh in September, and I'm just it's terrifying. So many books. I don't like it.
But we're happy about it, and readers are going to be happy about it. So there's that.
Yes. Well, next year I'm going to have all the pretties. And as I'm not doing a massive amount of book signings next year, there's going to be websites and all that jazz.
You've got all the time to get it sorted.
I think we've started to talk about maybe doing some kind of shop ourselves, just because I don't know. I feel like
missing a trick if you're not.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's exactly where we're at with it. It's just a case of figuring out the logistics.
Yes, I'm going to tell you I was talking recently about how to be a successful author with somebody who's a fair few years further along the thing than me. I mean, I've been writing since 2017, and I still feel like I'm only just sort of getting into the swing of things. But 7 streams of revenue. To be successful at anything, you need 7 independent streams of revenue. So I am all about the streams of revenue at the moment. All about diversifying into nice, pretty things that aren't just necessarily books. So it's all good.
Yeah, makes sense. And it's true. It is. You can't just rely on the one thing. You need multiple. All the things, which is one reason we're actually hoping that our YouTube channel will,
Well, you guys are like the branding queens. Your branding is so epic, and you're like literally, Blondie, you're like a walking bloody billboard for it. Peterborough, I have never seen many cartoon versions of their own face. It was absolutely brilliant.
I mean, this is where the shy and introverted comes in.
Yes, I can see that.
Rachel, please do the shops. Would love to meet you all again at book events, but I'll struggle to get to them. Would love to support you guys. That's cool. Well, it sounds like Gemma's got shops in the works already as well. So
at some point, hence the office. I have the office now. You see, it's all serious. Sign on the door.
Do you have storage? Like, do you have storage plate? Oh, nice.
Yes, luckily the office that I picked, because it had really high ceilings and that I really loved it the moment I walked in, came with a separate storage room.
Nice.
Oh.
Yes. So it actually it's sort of really perfect. So
yeah, you've like proper landed on your feet there. 10 minutes away. All the things you need.
I know. I had to sign a 3-year lease though, which is the scariest thing I've ever done in my life.
That is scary.
Kay Morgan is telling us that she's going to Rare in September, and I cannot tell you how jealous I am.
Yay! I hope you're coming to see me, Kay. Come to my table. Hugs are free.
Oh yeah, and pre-order from Gemma because her pre-orders are.
My pre-orders this time. Oh, I've had so much fun this time picking the things that go in my pre-orders.
We like to do similar.
Yes, I found the most amazing stuff to go in my pre-orders this time.
Nice.
Is it a secret?
Well, the stuff that's going in my special editions is because I haven't really told people about that. But yeah. But put it this way: things that buzz, things that go up your butt. What else do you want?
Nice.
Yes.
I think for our first signing, we gave away butt plugs.
I did.
The next one we gave away some vibrating lipsticks that literally looked like lipsticks.
Yeah, I did those the first few years, but then I literally just as we were going into COVID, when all the mail and everything was like, I had the biggest package of lipstick vibrators come from a Chinese sex toy supplier. Literally, the packet got ripped open and the mailman handed it to me. And you know when you have that sort of eyes lock moment when he's thinking, I need this many vibrators, and I'm going, they're not for me. And neither of us said a word. He's like, there you go. That was it. Brilliant.
We actually gave away whips and handcuffs and blindfolds at Book Bash.
I want to do spanking spoons.
Yeah, they look cool. I've found some really cool like spanking tickling things. So they've got like a feather on one end and a spanking thing on the other end. They might be our next thing.
Yeah, well, I'm literally going to do wooden spoons, and then I'm trying to get them engraved with like Property of the Medicine Man, so that they're leaving.
I think Hazel Pescator. Hazel does stuff on wood.
Oh, really? Is she UK based?
Yep.
Oh,
she made me a really cool like A4 sized wooden thing with like an engraving of my logo for Molly. When I've bought my first book out as Molly, she made this, and it's brilliant. Yeah, so Hazel Pesk, I'll send you her details. I don't know if she still does it. I mean, because this was like 2 years ago, but maybe
I'll drop her a message.
Rachel made the mistake of opening her pre-order in front of her lad.
Nobody wanted to explain the good stuff that comes in pre-orders. Love that. Sorry, Nikki. I'm not even sorry at all, because apparently she opened her pre-order with a sex toy in with her mother.
That's brilliant.
Literally, for Rare London, my husband was supposed to be coming with me. Mart really gets into his job as chief sex toy distributor. There you go. There's a word in there. And when we were in Australia, he literally had the box on his lap, and he handed people their pre-order. He'd go, you look like you need a butt plug, and throw it at them. And he really, really, really got into his job. He literally just had surgery date come through, so he's not going to be able to come to with me this time. And my mom wanted to come, and when you just have that moment of like, Mom, I love you and I appreciate the offer, but I cannot sit and talk about dicks, dildos, and sex toys with you sitting next to me for like a full day. I just can't do it. Can't do it. Can you imagine? Honestly, I cannot imagine giving my mum the sex toy box and saying, there you go, pick which one you think this lady would like.
My mom would have done it, like she would have taken that job very seriously.
I was going to say my mum would have done as well. She actually came to a couple of book events with me.
Butt plug, and you get one, and
my mum fucking loved it. My mum used to be a swinger.
Excellent.
And she used to tell me all about it.
Not sure I'd want details, but to each their own.
So whenever I'd tell her about what we were plotting or planning for one of our books, she had experienced everything that we had, and she could give me experience.
So, is it a coincidence? Yeah.
There you go. Right.
Secret lemonade.
All right, so we're going to start as always, with the rich one. So we're on chapter 11. For those of you who have never seen one of our lives, let me remind you that we are not professional narrators. We are so far from the mark that it's actually the opposite of. We make mistakes when we read. We probably skip over so many words, like I don't even want to count them. But this is just for fun.
We like to make sound effects when they are necessary.
Yes, we do.
We'll do the same for your book as well, Gemma. Don't worry.
We're popping the P, and if someone's getting a spanking, guess what? We're doing the spanking.
This time everyone actually gets to see us
not be seen. So now you're going to see us being like.
Yeah, I mean, before you just hear like these noises coming. And you wouldn't see us, but now you're going to see everything.
Well, now we need a different chapter because, like, I want now all of those things. I want spanking and squelching. Like, this is feeling quite tame in comparison.
What we'll do is next time we'll see where we're going to be at, and we'll have you on next time, and we'll have a.
Yes, I want a really rude chapter. I don't want to participate. I just want to sit and listen.
So, okay, on that note, what would you like to read, Gemma?
So we have a narrator, girl voices or a boy voices?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I've never done this before. You popped your cherries. You're popping my cherry as well, apparently. I don't know. If I do the narrator, which bits do I have to do?
All of the bits apart from the speech.
Yeah, we'll do the speech.
Yeah, go on then. I'll do that. I've got a really Brummy accent today, so.
Wait. At least you have and we will also prelude with the fact I'll be the men, by the way. I'll do men. You can do ladies.
So I'm doing everything apart from in speech.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
Also, all of our characters are from New York, not Texas, which is how I make them sound.
I have no American accent at all, so I'm afraid your narrator in a monologue today is in Brummy.
That's fine.
Which is fine. But it just, when she does the American accents, she goes, it's like default Texas. And it just makes me laugh because, New Yorkers and Texans just don't have the same accent.
I can't help it.
But it's funny. And it's just, it's perfect. It's perfection.
Myself a proper job, haven't I, now? Because there's a hell of a lot more bloody narrator.
You've got the big job, babe. You've got the big one.
It's fine. I'm 3/4 of the way to make me can of bud. It's all right.
Okay. Are we ready? This is chapter 11.
I'm hoping I've got the right book now.
Oh, God.
No, I'm fairly sure I have.
I mean,
I'm feeling quite embarrassed now, though.
If you start saying something else, it's fine. We'll scramble to pretend that's what it's meant to be.
Okay.
I'm doing the ladies, right? You're doing the men?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't even need my microphone.
Oh, why?
To get on sultry.
Oh, have you not got much?
Oh, no, she wants to be sultry and sexy. I'm pretty sure I don't.
I wanted to speak on my big microphone.
You want to do your second operator voice? No. Okay, so right, yours starts by this time in our lives. That's the right chapter, isn't it?
Yep.
No.
Yes, by the time in our lives.
I know, I'm joking.
Oh.
Oh, you froze briefly. I think you're back.
I lost you completely then.
You did.
Right, okay. This is really quite intimidating.
Listen on.
Yeah.
I'm just checking that this thing is on.
Oh my God. Right. Okay. By this time in our lives, setting up for the festivities is basically second nature. I decide to be an adult about this love triangle situation and suck it up. After all, it would be out of character for me to ignore Freya, since no one, not a single other soul except myself, knows what I saw when I saw it, and the fact that Freya, my best friend at the time, was well aware of my intentions of declaring my feelings for Kai. I've been pretending it's all just fine since that awful night, but inside I was devastated. The problem is, since that night, they've been dating on and off for years. They'll fall into bed together, date for a couple of months because Freya doesn't want to feel like a slut. Her words, not mine. And then inevitably, they'll break up because Kai isn't giving her the attention she deserves. Again, her words. I'm over it. In fact, I'm pretty sure they'll fuck tonight. In the morning, they'll be all over each other like newlyweds. And by the winter solstice, it'll be off again. Lather, rinse, repeat. As I bring out the last of the giant pillows and warm blankets, I have a fleeting thought about my candy aisle guy. Nathaniel's face flashes in my mind just as I drop the load I'm carrying onto the grass. His smile makes my heartbeat increase just the tiniest bit as I arrange the covers and fluff the pillows. The cerulean of the fabric matches the exact colour of his eyes, making the corners of my mouth rise just enough for me to feel a little bit of warmth in my chest. All around me, the sounds of paper and crystals swaying in the light breeze remind me of the feel of the soft breath on my skin.
That's not crystals, but...
Oh, wait, sorry. I just did the breath.
I was trying to be crystals. Shit, man. Did we do it on purpose?
Frowning, I turn to my brother and consider maybe he's too high to continue setting anything up.
What do you mean?
I look around, trying to see things from his perspective.
Holy shit.
Kai's low murmur is closer to me than I expect, earning him a small gasp from me.
It's exactly the same.
Now it's Freya's wonderment that joined the mix, and I'm just confused. It's only when I step back and look at the scene in front of us that I understand. My heart swells behind my ribcage, the familiar ache of missing my parents all consuming as I realise we set up the entire scene like our parents before us. It's a miniature version, sure, but it's exactly the same pattern. The fire pit in the middle and 6 bundles of blankets and giant pillows, colour-coded for each of the families back then, are meticulously arranged around the now growing fire. I'm standing at what would have been my family's bundle, oranges and browns with a touch of cream. We're all quiet for a moment until Petal's voice breaks the reminiscent trance we're drowning in from the memories of our past lives.
Okay, here's the last of it.
Everest is the first to move, helping his wife to carry the pies and a bowl of water that we blessed earlier, which now needs to sit in the moonlight. I feel him before I hear the words at my ear.
Remember, River, we always share a blanket.
His pinky caresses the heart-shaped beauty mark at my neck, and he fucking knows it makes me pliable, makes me soft. But even his touch can only go so far.
Well, I'm sure Freya would have something to say about that.
I turn to him and smile like the world is A-okay. His sigh is barely discernible and the glance over my shoulder discreet. But I know him. The last thing Kai wants is to hurt anyone, but right now he's torn between what's familiar and what's easy. I'm the latter, apparently.
Excuse me, I need to grab the paper and pens for the wish on the ash.
I linger just a second longer than I should, reading his dilated pupils tinged with wariness and lust, the downward curve of his lips and the crease between his brows. Is he regretting inviting Freya? Or is he coming to grips with the fact that we are no more, never actually were, anything? In my heart, I've always blamed Freya for coming between us, but for fuck's sake, we're adults and he and I have had years to make a decision. But then my job has always been my barrier, hasn't it? How could I possibly have any type of relationship with Kai while fucking other men for cash? I can't. I won't. Even if he gave me permission, which he abso-fucking-lutely would never, I still wouldn't want my two worlds to coexist. The mere fact that he knows anything about Tyler is making my anxiety skyrocket. It takes a while, but we're all finally settled in our blanket. Everest and Petals are snuggled, sharing a piece of apple pie and whispering sweet nothings to each other. Or maybe filthy nothings. Who the fuck knows? Leanna and Becca, Petal's sister and her wife, are right across the fire from me, and to my right is Kai. He's alone, which shouldn't make me so fucking happy, but it does. And on his other side is Freya, looking more sad than joyful. I wouldn't be surprised if we wore the same facial expression. After all, we're both pining for the same man. Correction, she's pining. I'm coming to grips with the never could have be of my life.
Okay, everyone, it's time.
Petal's mother, Marie, begins. As the oldest, her and Peter will preside over the rituals. I'm glad because I'm in no emotional shape to lead this thing. The idea of doing it once they pass is bad enough. I have time though, thank fuck.
Mother Nature has blessed us with a cloudless sky, and our sister the moon is gorgeous as ever, bathing us in her light.
I scoot under my blankets and cross my legs, tilting my head back and facing the moon. There's something about this position that suits me. It calms me, a bit like when Tyler takes the reins and fucks the worries right out of me.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, I need to concentrate. Moon, light, ritual, bathing. All the fucking moon bathing.
Let us close our eyes and face the moon, accept her cleansing of our bodies, our minds, and our souls. This is a time for reflection. Let us take a minute of solitude to think back on the last 12 months and give our thanks to the bountiful mother that is our nature.
My eyes closed, I picture the last year like a series of PowerPoint mind's eye. And then the money, the dubious clients, and the impossible situations. I allow myself to briefly ponder the most frightening part of my year. The violation and the pain, the utter helplessness on that fateful night with a client I never should have taken. I think back on all the sex I've had. Some satisfying, some coma-inducing, and all the opportunities my orgasms have provided my brother. They say money doesn't...
so wrong, doesn't it? Why did we write
That sound wrong.
They say money doesn't buy you happiness, but enough of it can bring you a worry-free smile to our faces. I think about Kai, about the number of times I've let him kiss me, touch me, the times he's pulled me into tight, secluded spaces and fucked me until my legs couldn't hold me up. I think about the lies, the omissions, the ideas I let them create about what I really do in Manhattan, why I live there and not here. I can't tell them the truth about the rich, available clients ready to fuck me for the equivalent of a month's rent. I doubt they'd appreciate my brand of honesty. Then I let it all go. I let the breeze take away the negative emotions and breathe in the clean positivity that I'll need for the coming new year. My body freezes as the heat under my blanket turns to chill before transforming into an inferno. The rustling of the covers and pillows makes me lose my train of thought, but the feel of a warm, hard...
I'm glad that I wasn't actually a bit further away then, because I just realised as I lifted my top up to rub it against the microphone, anything below here, you can all see everything.
The rustling of the covers and pillows makes me lose.
Oh, she froze.
Waking up to me is what finally does me in.
What are you doing?
I whisper so softly, I hope only he can hear me.
Shh.
Kai's response is frustrating to say the least, but he's right. This is not the time to speak.
Okay, that was great, everyone. Did you feel the moonbeams cleanse you?
We all respond in various ways. Some say out a yes, others ones. It's me, him, others.
Oh, right. So let's present our wishes to the ashes. River has been so kind as to distribute recycled paper to everyone. They should be secured under a rock next to your pillows.
We all take out our papers and concentrate on the wishes we want to send out to the universe.
What's your what's your wish, River?
Is it possible to want to punch and fuck a man at the same time? Every year since I can remember, Kai has asked me this question during our ritual, and every year I give him the same answer.
To be able to eat meat.
The double entendre only came to us in our later teens, but the first time I answered him, I was being literal. I really, really wanted to know the taste of meat. Although I've long since given up veganism, my answer is still the same, for the sake of the memories.
I've got your meat right here.
Sorry.
We both chuckle at his ready answer, the same one he's given me since age 16. I give him a side eye, incapable of not smiling, because fuck me, when he grins with both dimples on proud display, I could seriously jump on his meat and not regret a damn thing.
Wait, who's
Marie.
talking?
Marie.
Oh, sorry. We are at your home, Everston Petal. You do the honors.
Everest smiles and places both of his hands on Petal's cheek, then kisses her with so much love I can feel its potency from where I sit. He rises and takes Petal's hand as they walk over to the fire. Standing behind her, they place the folded papers in their closed fists and kiss each other passionately as they drop the papers into the dancing flames. Wishes to ashes. They now hold their words for infinity. I scribble one word on my paper, just one. It's all I really need for this year, for life, really.
Verse, sweetheart, it's your turn.
Petal's sweet mother nods to me and then to the fire pit. I'm rising to my feet when Kai's hand on my forearm stops me. Looking over at him, I see the sincerity in his clear eyes, clearer than they've been all night.
Wish for me, River.
The word on my paper burns a hole in my palm. I lean in and kiss his cheek, my lips lingering long enough for me to inhale the earthy scent of him. Rising, I smile down at his expectant face before forcing myself to walk to the fire. My hand extends, my heart constricts. I look over my shoulder at Kai right before my fingers open and the paper is engulfed by the flames. It's gone in a second, the power of the fire too great for my word. Clarity. It's all I really want. By the time the circle is complete, sharing our greatest memories. Petal and her family don't know our parents, so we regale them with stories of communal living and unorganised road trips while passing around an endless amount of weed. I rarely smoke anymore. In fact, I haven't since last winter solstice. It's almost 2 a.m. when my bladder decides it cannot wait another second before exploding. I'm feeling good, worry-free. The permanent weight on my shoulders barely feels like a feather thanks to the hazy high that's clouding my mind. We're past the laughing stage by now and have moved on to the silent contemplation stage, our inner thoughts like a complete conversation with ourselves. I'm solving world hunger by the time I make it to the bathroom. By the time I've peed the equivalent of the Mississippi River, I think I've figured out how to eliminate capitalism with an equalitarian form of government. Bloody hell. By the time I've washed my hands, even being high won't deter me from good hygiene. I'm convinced that the harvest moon has given me my wish. I have clarity. I know what I'm going to do. I have all the fucking solutions at the tip of my tongue. Reaching out for the doorknob with my phone in hand, I laugh at Tyler's new message.
Oh, am I doing message? I'm
Yeah.
at the bar trying to close a deal, but I keep thinking of you. I'm hard as nails.
It's the harvest moon. I don't have time to reach. Oh, sorry.
I don't have time to reach the door before it flies open, and there stands Kai. He's glorious and determined. Lust is clear in his eyes, but there's something else too. His jaw is clenched, his fists opening and closing in a steady rhythm like he's practicing his next words.
That's River.
Do you need to pee?
Stupid question. We're in the bathroom. I look around and frown. Everest should make it bigger, maybe put in a shower stall next to the tub. I prefer showers, they're cleaners, but baths are... Fuck, I'm high.
No, I don't need to pee.
The space is so small that it only takes Kai 2 steps to have my back against the wall.
River.
My name is a whisper from his lips that licks at my skin, my nerves, my soul. With my eyes closed, I wish for another time or place or destiny. But then I remember his words.
Wish for me, River.
What if my word is just a synonym to Kai? What if he is my clarity? It would make sense.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
I didn't hear it.
Didn't hear you again.
Silent.
Hi.
I say so much with that one word.
God! Did you wish for me?
Opening my eyes, I'm met with liquid honey, the gold swirling with an intensity that makes my pussy clench, my body tremble with the need for him.
She did it. Oh,
did she freeze?
Yeah, she's frozen.
Okay.
We've got
Come
the
back
eye.
to us. Come back to us. Come back.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go. Well, we got the eye. We lost you after eye.
Oh, my phone pings with an incoming message. Shaking enter. We both look over to the lit up screen and my clarity disappears in a puff of regret. Tyler's name is flashing with an incoming call. Refusing him now is not a good idea. The man does not like to be ignored, and it's in my contract that unless it's life-threatening, I'm to answer his call. Always.
Don't ignore him, River. Don't answer.
I was wrong. The moon didn't give me shit, but the fire may very well be consuming for a lifetime.
I can't.
My eyes fix on Kai, begging him to understand, even though he has no information, no real insight as to why it's crucial that I answer. I pick up the call, and as Tyler's voice fills my ear, I see the light burn out in Kai's gaze. I thought we were done at the park so many nights ago. I was wrong. Back then, hope was still in the air. Tonight, that hope is crushed. Clarity.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, and then on to chapter 12 next.
Oh.
Wow.
Do you know what? I read the chapter earlier. I didn't have time to read any more of the book, so I read it with absolutely zero context, literally starting a book at chapter 11. And in my head, because I have read a little bit of your other stuff, which is like super taboo, I was like, oh my God, is she fucking her brother? Because literally the first thing she mentions is her brother, and then Kai comes on, and I'm like, oh my God, like that's taking it a bit far even for you, Per. So for the first sort of 3 pages of this, I thought it was a book about incest. Just saying.
No. We're not that bad. We do draw the line at incest. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love me some, Game of Thrones, but no. Oh, and now you're killing my blondie. Good job.
It's fine.
Oh God.
Good.
I'm so sweaty. It's ridiculous. Like the underboob sweat going on right now.
And now the internet will know this forever and ever. Amen.
She almost flashed him earlier, so she might as well talk about whatever at this point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've stood in the centre of the Birmingham NEC, stark bollock naked, apart from a pair of knickers and some nipple stickers, while someone body painted me twice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm fine.
So she's fine. She's fine.
Right. So we are lie that is trapping.
So just a quick question before we move on to Gemma's book. Those of you listening, is anybody out there? Have you read The Rich One? Is this like your first time, first introduction?
Nikki Morant has, because she really disliked Freya, and there's no way you'd dislike Freya just from that chapter if you haven't read.
This is true. This is true.
So yeah, Freya's a cunt.
We know that Michelle has. Oh no, Michelle has not.
And then she just came back with Freya's a cunt. That's all I got.
That's all you need to know, really. Kerry
Yay.
Jenkins is on. She's read them.
Don't you find that you have to write a character that you know everyone's going to hate, though? It's like a given. You have to have a character for everybody to universally hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have, so Freya is universal, so we can do whatever we want with her. And then we have Kai. And Kai,
Loads of people hated him.
I know, it's like a tug of war. Like
Right up
people
until
love him, people
book
hate
5,
him.
they hated him.
People him, then they kind of love him, then they really hate him, and then they're like, oh no. So yeah, it's like, I don't know how we did it. I don't know. I think because we didn't be very clear about our feelings about him.
I'm about to give a spoiler, so if anybody's listening, I'm about to give a spoiler as to who.
No, someone hasn't read it.
Like, cover your ears, because I'm just
Cover
going
your
to say something quickly. Right, like now, Kai isn't the endgame guy, by the way, so it's okay that people hated him.
Obviously, literally, and yeah, no, right. Zero context about the rest of the story. Haven't read the rest of it. At some point, I will find enough time to read, and I promise I will read it. But he doesn't know her. If he doesn't know her, he doesn't deserve her. That's like one chapter, obviously.
I mean, yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, we've had people comment after reading that book. We've had a couple of reviews that are like, "Oh, I know exactly where this is going. I don't like it. He doesn't deserve her. Blah 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 blah."
And you know, childhood love. It's
like,
obviously
you don't know where this is going. There's no way in hell you can know where this is going until at least book 4.
Yeah,
3, 4.
3. You may get a hint.
People guessing.
So are they proper? How many books in the series?
6.
But they're short.
Continuing story for those 2 characters across all of them.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, there's like several characters introduced. There's like 3 or 4, 5, 6, 3 or 4 men come in different books. And some people were like, "Oh, is it going to be RH?" And some were like, "Oh, is it this one? I like this one." And then they read the next book and were like, "Oh, actually, no, I don't like him anymore. I like him now."
Yes, Rachel.
What she say? Very
selfish,
yes. The kind of guy I want. Yeah.
Nikki, yeah, well, you know.
Is he dead?
Us too. Well, me too, because Blondie didn't actually give a shit.
He was the Tamlin in this whole situation, wasn't he? He was just.
That's exactly, yeah. I mean, I didn't have to be in a room or anything.
But I'm like, come on, let's not make him hated. She's like, nope.
No, again, one chapter, 0 context. Yeah, no, he's a cunt. Let's just him and Freya ride off into Cuntsville together. It's fine.
Exactly. And I mean, yeah. But that's enough about Kai for the people that haven't read it yet.
Yep.
God, it's so hot, honestly.
It's so hot.
It's actually kind of cool.
Hot.
I'm like, okay, right. So we're going to read a little bit of The Lie That Traps. And this is funny, actually. Isabella, but spelt with a Z. Last week, we actually read from a book called Isabella.
Oh, this is true, with an S.
But with an S. Kai does redeem it. Yeah, Kai does redeem himself. Which is why everyone then loves him again. Like,
I love your warning. My heroes are assholes. First line. First line I read.
I mean, have you seen how long the warning is?
You know what though, Blondie, you'll remember the very first I wrote. Yeah, no, it started off. The very first book I put a warning in was Property of the Mountain Man, and it literally was about 3 paragraphs long. And the more I wrote in the series, the longer it gets. And then you hit Obsession, which is like my very first sort of dark-ish book, and it just got longer and longer and longer. But it's because I'd be a sheer quantity of people who would go, oh, this is supposed to be romance, but you're perpetuating domestic violence and all of that. So I wrote this massive thing in the front that was like, you know, if this is not your cup of tea, please don't read it because you're not going to like it. And I still get people. I read the warning book. Those are my favourite reviews. I read the warning book.
I read the warning. Really?
Yes.
Like, you know,
so many of them.
But then curiosity, you know, what it does to the cat.
Yeah, but I mean, the warning, as long as it is, literally says everything that they are probably going to hate about it. It tells you in that warning, so they know they're going to hate it.
Yeah, but they're thinking, no way is it going to go that far.
I mean, it does.
Obviously,
I actually think my warning is quite watered down in comparison to some of the things that my guys do. Especially for those of you who've read the second Mountain Man book. Hook's a bit of a he's a naughty boy. But it's literally like saying I knew the flames were going to burn me, but I put my hand in there to see if I was immune.
Yeah, and I realised I wasn't.
Yeah, and that's awful, and I want my money back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh God.
Don't worry, Nikki. We all love Gemma's books, so it doesn't say anything about us apart from we've got good taste.
Yeah, and Nikki, it just says that you're kind of awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I really just wanted to go, everything is awesome.
So, what chapter are we reading? Chapter 1.
Or did you want to go to something else?
No, because I can't actually remember where the good stuff is in this book, to be honest. I'm literally flicking through the first chapter trying to remember. The only thing is, I am going to let you guys do the heavy lifting because there is literally only 2 characters in this. There's the narrator and there is about 3 lines of dialogue. So I'm just going to sit and listen to you, Bear. I've done my bit. I did the hefty lifting with yours.
Oh,
would you like to do the narration or would you like to do the narration, Blondie?
Whatever you fancy. Oh, don't worry. If I do narration, I won't do it all in an accent.
It's set in the same, right? It's all right. I managed to write myself into a corner and accidentally change state in a book recently, and now I'm trying to remember which one I went from and to. Right, they're in California.
Okay, so
in a fictional
town. An American accent that doesn't have any type of accent. Yeah. So unless they're from, you know,
it's neutral America.
Just American.
Just American.
Yes, just American.
Yeah. Like all Americans think our British accent is the Queen's English. This is just American. Just American.
Yeah. So what are we doing? Do you want to people or do you want to narrate?
It doesn't matter. We're not going to spend 2 hours on this. Do you want to narrate? I know you
I will narrate. I will narrate.
Right.
Let's go for it, man.
Let's do it. Okay. What are you doing, Gemma?
I'm listening. There is literally the narrator and about 3 lines of dialogue from one other female character, and that is it in this chapter. Okay. So I am listening to you, Per.
Okay, so I'll do the female
and sound effects.
Oh, and sound. Okay, I have to think about the sound effects. All
right.
Okay.
You can tell a lot about a person by the shoes they wear.
Yes.
You can tell even more about them when their shoes are the only kind of self-expression they're allowed to have. Green Acres Academy has a strict dress code. Green plaid skirts or pinafores, white blouses, green ties, and blazers for the girls. Tan chinos, white shirts, green ties, and green blazers for the boys.
Damn.
Everybody looks the same, except for their shoes. I see a lot of shoes in the halls of this school. I see the popular girls who strut between classes like the hallways are a catwalk, and the sleepy guys who drag their feet as they saunter from one period to the next. I see it all, because I'm the only person looking down when everyone around me is looking forward. You'd think traversing busy hallways that are full of students would be almost impossible with my head down and my gaze pinned firmly on my feet. But I've done it for so long that I could move around GAA with my eyes closed and never bump into anything. Looking down is my camouflage. It's the way I stay hidden in plain sight. Looking down at the ground and all those shoes makes me invisible, and that's what I need to be. Because if no one sees me, then I don't have to see them either. On TV and in movies, people always talk about high school being the best years of your life, and maybe for some people it is, but not for me. I'm a senior, and instead of the last 3.5 years being my glory days, they've simply been a lesson in survival. I've learned how to stay hidden. I've learned how to be invisible. And I've learned that if you try hard enough, you can simply fail to exist. Greenacres Academy is the creme de la creme of prep schools. The world is full of rich people, and most of them want their kids to come here. But no matter how much money they have, the majority of them won't get in. GAA has about 300 students, and the vast majority will be from families who have attended this school since its inception. Occasionally, the school allows 1 or 2 scholarship kids or a townie who can afford to pay the fees to attend, but for the most part, the students all hail from the same group of high society families. Most of my graduating class have known each other their entire lives, which is why I spend most of my time staring down at the floor. I need to stay invisible because all of my problems start when people see my face. My cell beeps with a text message. My cell beeps with a text message. Why can't I fucking hear you?
All right, hold on.
Yeah, it's like.
All right, hold on, because I'm going to try
Now I
something.
can hear you. Maybe, was it facing the wrong way?
What does it mean, gain on the microphone?
Our faces were very similar then.
Right, gain.
Yep, I heard that.
You heard that?
Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't hear that.
Did you hear that?
No. No, not that either. I think your buttons need to face you. Are your buttons facing you?
What buttons?
Turn it around. I can see your buttons, so they're not facing you.
But that button is facing me.
Now does it? The other button now does try beep. No, fuck. What is wrong? I mean, I can hear you when you're talking normally, but then when you no.
Right. This is annoying.
Oh, now I can hear you perfectly fine.
What?
I can hear you perfectly fine right now. No, why can't I hear you when you do a beep?
All right, let me see. Maybe the gain is the high-pitched sounds.
I don't know, maybe, but when you're talking, it's fine.
Because it's my sultry voice and the microphone accepts it.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Oh, it sounded a little, I got a little sound there. No. Fucking stupid. Do a beep in your normal voice instead of a high one. Maybe that'll work.
When I'm further from the mic, okay.
Oh. No.
Beep. I'll do it.
Beep. Do it on the other
anyway,
end.
My cell beeps with a text message.
Beep.
And for a moment,
beep.
Yay! Woo! And for a moment, I pretend I don't hear it. That's kind of ironic, isn't it?
We should spend 10 minutes on the Bing, all that to say that she actually didn't hear it.
There's only one person at this school who has my number, and they're the only person I really don't want to hear from. Sighing, I shuffle to the side of the hallway and step between 2 banks of lockers. Keeping my gaze lowered and using my hair as a shield, I reluctantly pull my cell from my blazer pocket. My cell is so old. No, it's not so old. It's old. So old that apart from calls and texts, its only other feature is a game called Snake. I fucking love Snake.
Me
The
too.
screen is. I've got a smartwatch thing, and it's got fucking Snake on it. It's brilliant. The screen is black and white. It only has one very 80s computer font, and it doesn't even have a camera. But it works and does everything that I need it to, and I love it. Using the buttons, I scroll through the menu until I reach the little pixelated envelope that will take me to my text messages.
Feeling nostalgic.
Huh?
Feeling nostalgic from when you used to have to go ABC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Also annoyed.
Yeah. The other kids at this school love texts and Snapchats and whatever the fuck else they get on their cell phones. But even without reading the contents of the message, I know it's nothing good. Closing my eyes, I inhale deeply and seriously consider just ignoring it. Excuse me, sorry. My cell's so outdated that no one would know if I'd read the message or not. Ooh, yeah.
We would know.
Not on old phones. You wouldn't know if someone's read it.
Well,
No,
You
no
don't
one-
get like
we would. So apparently we would.
Oh.
No one.
Oh, no one would know. Oh. That was a real thing.
My phone beeped for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that was
The phone
perfect. That was like a
understood.
light bulb moment.
Yeah.
I could just pretend that my battery died or that a teacher thought I'd stolen an antique cell phone and confiscated it. For a long, rebellious moment, I actually think about doing it, about ignoring whatever demand is in this text. But then a seed of doubt starts to grow in my stomach. What if it's something important? Or what if it's not what I think it is? Exhaling, I stop trying to pretend that I have a choice and open the message. I'm going to let you do the message.
Second floor bathroom now.
A bitter scoff falls from my lips. Where's the bitter scoff? Every time I get a message like this from her, I wonder why I'm still surprised. It's been over 3 years since I received a text that wasn't a demand or an order, but for some stupid reason, the tiny voice at the back of my mind still taunts me with the idea that it could be something different. Albert Einstein said that insanity was doing the same thing over and over and expecting to get a different result. But I can't quite give up the hope that one day things might change. Lifting my wrist, I check the time on my watch. It's 5 minutes until the bell, which unfortunately means enough time for me to do as I'm told. Pushing my cell back into my blazer, I inhale, then exhale, psyching myself up to move from my hiding spot. I've gotten so good at being invisible that I barely have to try. Lowering my gaze, I allow my shoulders to curl in, making myself as small as possible as I step out from the wall. With my hair shielding my face, I start to walk, keeping a medium pace, not so slow that I block anyone, nor fast enough to be memorable. Clutching my box tightly, you look like an emo.
I'm being Isabella.
Clutching my books tightly against my chest, I don't look up until I'm standing outside the bathroom door. No one ever comes up here because it's at the very end of the south wing, next to where a hallway was blocked off and rerouted years ago. We've used this bathroom as a meeting place since freshman year when we thought high school would be an exciting new adventure. Back then, I enjoyed school. Now, it's just something else to survive. Pushing through the door, I tense. This won't be good. It never is. And no matter how much I want things to be different.
What?
Oh, sorry, I thought you said something. No matter how much I wish things would change, they never do.
Hell have you been? I texted you 10 minutes ago.
Penelope screeches, her voice so full of venom and hatred that I barely recognise it. Although it's impossible not to recognise someone who looks exactly like I do. Most people only get to see her. Yes! There's a great story. You should read it. It's brilliant. Most people only get to see how they're looking pictures or a mirror. I get to see every angle of every emotion as it plays across my identical twin's face. I never imagined that my sister would look at me with hatred in her eyes, but I've seen it so often now that I think I could imitate the expression without ever having truly felt the emotion.
I was all the way.
I start to explain.
I don't care,
she says, cutting me off, her hands on her hips, her lips twisted into an ugly, imperious snarl. Oh.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, I need my hot water bottle. It's you, darling. It's you.
Oh, is it me? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why everyone's laughing? Because I'm not reading.
That too.
Okay. Mr. Brooks will notice if I'm not in English.
No,
He's already
no.
What?
You missed a bit.
What?
You missed a bit.
I moved. You need to go to my physics class. There's going to be a pop quiz and I need you to take. Mr. Brooks will notice if I'm not in English. He's already threatened to fail me if I skip any more of his classes.
I tell her, silently willing her to understand.
That sounds like your problem. Oh, sorry. Rewind. That sounds like a you problem.
She replies simply, as if my concerns are of no interest to her.
You need to go to physics. No one cares if you fail a class, but Mom will lose her mind if I fail this quiz. Do you want to be the reason why I don't maintain my perfect 4.0?
This isn't the first time I've heard this particular guilt-filled argument. Making sure my sister is perfect in every way possible is the reason behind everything I've done for the last 3 years.
Will you go to my English class?
I ask, a slither of hope flaring to life. Arching one perfectly shaped brow, she sneers.
No.
I don't bother arguing with her. There's no point. She doesn't care about me or anything that isn't about her and our future. Glancing past her, I see my reflection in the mirror. I look the same way I do every day. Blonde hair styled just the way she likes. Makeup done how she insists. I look perfect. Just like her. In fact, I look exactly like her, which is why she can demand I go and take her physics quiz and no one will ever know it wasn't her. With most identical twins, there's a way to tell them apart, but Penelope and I really are identical. Same height, weight, build, same ears, lips, hair. In fact, the only discernible difference between us and the only way to tell us apart is our eyes, which is why I spend so much time looking down at the floor.
You're going to make me late,
she says dismissively, her voice polished just the way we were taught. A part of me wants to scream and shout, to refuse to do her bidding, but there's no point, because no matter how much I hate the way she told me she's more important than I am, it's still true. When I don't go to my English class, my teacher will be annoyed, but he won't question where I am because he doesn't care. No one cares. Yes, we do. No one cares. After all this time, I know I should have gotten used to being insignificant. But every time my sister reminds me that my life is paltry in comparison with hers, it still hurts. Without saying another word, I turn and leave. I hear the door swing closed behind me, but I don't look back. Instead, I hurry down the corridor and dart into a shadowy corner. Inhaling slowly, I close my eyes, willing all of my insecurities to fall away. Penelope Emerson Rhodes doesn't hide. She doesn't cower or look at the floor. Rolling my shoulders back, I pull in a breath, then call on years of practice. Stepping out of the darkness, I emerge as Penelope, my head held high, each step purposeful and powerful, an enigmatic smile tipping at the corners of my lips as I make my way to the science wing of my physics class. No one questions me when I stroll into the classroom and take my seat 3 rows back. 3 rows back, 3 rows in, just like every other class. No one wonders why I'm here instead of my sister, because to every person in this room, I am Penelope. So I do what's expected of me. I smile and wave, and then I take a pop quiz on physics while my English assignment sits forgotten in my backpack. When the bell rings 50 minutes later, I pick up my quiz and drop it on the teacher's desk before sashaying out of the room. It's 236 steps from Penelope's physics class to the photography darkroom, and I count each one as I walk confidently through the school. Are you going to count right up to 236?
I am not.
I've just scrolled forwards and realised like this is the longest chapter in the history of long chapters.
It takes every ounce of bravado I can muster not to allow the trembling in my fingers to travel through the rest of my limbs, but somehow I manage it. When salvation is in sight, I check that no one is watching before I pull the dark room key from my blazer pocket and frantically try to push it into the lock.
I just want to say one thing. I'm just going to interrupt you for a second. Gemma, just the way that you market us. The number of times that you say no, and I feel like we're part of the story.
Honestly, I wrote it in there deliberately. I really did.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure you did. I mean, when she wrote this before no one was a thing, she was definitely thinking of us.
Yeah.
Vibes. Psychic vibes, ladies.
Yeah, man.
Knew it was going to happen.
Fist bump. Sorry.
My nerves ratchet up with every moment that passes, and my hands shake hard enough that I can't get the key to work. Eventually, it slides home, and turning it, I push open the door, dart inside, and close it behind me. The moment the door is latched, I flip the lock, then slump back against the cool wooden surface. Excuse me. Closing my eyes, I focus on breathing, each inhale ragged as I try to take in enough oxygen to calm my racing heart. After all this time, I should be used to pretending to be my sister. It's not like it's a rare occurrence. But no matter how many of her classes I attend, or how many times I take her place, it never seems to get any easier. Reaching behind me, I double-check the lock, then slowly lift my weight from the door. My legs feel shaky as I cross the room and slide down onto the worn leather couch that's sitting beneath a blacked-out window. I'm not sure when the last time this was used as a dark room. Greenacres Academy moulds the minds of the children of the wealthy and successful, and when money and power are the end goal, there's no time for the liberal arts when there are so many more influential lessons the students could be learning. I stumbled across the room during my freshman year, just after my great-grandfather died. When he was alive, I rarely saw him. He had no time for little girls.
Thank God.
So when old age and ill health
really
caught up with
wrong.
him.
That sounds so wrong.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, that's a good thing that he had
Yeah.
no time. So when old age and ill health caught up with him, I understood why my parents were upset. But secretly, I wasn't that sad to lose a man I hardly knew. I wore black to his funeral, and then I went home and assumed his death wouldn't really have any impact on my life. Back then, everything was simple. Penelope and I were the Rhodes twins, the only children of Barnaby and Trudy Rhodes, the only grandchildren of Nicholas Rhodes, and the great-grandchildren of Reginald Rhodes II. My great-grandfather's family is the epitome of old money, the kind you can date back to the Mayflower. But instead of sitting on his laurels and basking in his wealth, Reginald decided that the only route to happiness was by making more and more money. He invested in property and shipping and 100 other things that made him richer than any one person should be. Unlike Reginald, my father and grandfather have made careers out of living in the lap of luxury and spending their limitless trust funds. When Reginald died, everyone assumed his estate would pass to his only child, my grandfather, who would in turn eventually pass his estate to his only child, my dad. 2 weeks after Reginald's death, my parents and sister were invited to the reading of the will. Now, looking back, I should have known that something was going on when I was excluded, but I don't think anyone could have anticipated how a dead man's wishes would change everything. I can clearly remember the moment Penelope and my parents walked out of the lawyer's office that day. Penelope was clutching a white envelope, her skin pale, her eyes wide, and my parents looked both shell-shocked and elated. Instead of the money going where it was supposed to go, it all went to my sister. Penelope inherited everything. All of Reginald's businesses, property, and fortune, or at least she will inherit it all when she turns 25. Of course, a man like my great-grandfather didn't leave his entire estate to a 14-year-old without putting some thought into it. To ensure that his great-granddaughter didn't end up rich and lazy like her father, his will stipulates that she only inherits if she excels in life. She has to graduate from GAA with a minimum of a 4.0 grade average. She has to be accepted and graduate from one of the 4 pre-approved Ivy League colleges he selected. Then she has to marry a boy from a pre-approved old money family. To say that my parents were over the moon is an understatement. My father had assumed the money would go to his dad, and my mother was annoyed that she'd have to wait years to get her hands on it. Being the gatekeeper for a daughter who would inherit billions was the dream job for them. Suddenly, instead of travelling for the majority of the year, they became doting parents to their eldest daughter, eager to guide her and mould her into the perfect heiress. Every conversation became about influential friends, political alliances between powerful families, and the most eligible bachelors from the approved list of potential grooms Penelope could marry. In the blink of an eye, my sister went from regular old money rich to billionaire in waiting with her entire life planned out for her, and I was discarded, obsolete, and unnecessary at the age of 14.
Damn.
Sorry, I think a fly just like.
Did you inhale it?
Like almost. Hence the.
I'm so invested in this story right now.
Good. You have to I'm saying you made me read that thing that is breaking my heart. You should read these.
Oh God, are you gonna break my heart?
Oh no. They're not
okay.
breaking. No. I mean, I can give you one that might. Not for now. Anyway.
No,
Most people assume twins, especially identical twins, must be close. They expect Penelope and I to share a unique bond that no one apart from others set to.
Are you having a coronary? Are you okay? Are you having a stroke?
It's fine. But we've never had that kind of relationship. Penelope doesn't particularly like me. Sorry, I just lost where I was for a second. Penelope doesn't particularly.
Chapter in the history of long chapters. I wrote it and I'm sitting here going, Jesus, does this not end yet?
She hates that she's one of a matching pair. She hates that we share parents and a home, and she especially hates that we share a face. There are millions of sets of twins in the world, millions of pairs of similar faces, but Penelope and I are truly identical. Our height, frame, hair, face, everything about us is the same. The only distinguishing difference between us is that her eyes are blue and mine are violet. When we were 6 months old, my eyes changed colour, shocking everyone because up until that point, no one had been able to tell us apart. My parents took me to specialists, and apparently there's a chance I have a very rare genetic condition that makes my eyes look purple, or in my case, a deep shade of violet. It's the only unique thing about me, and I'm fairly sure it only makes my sister hate me more. Despite our relationship not being everything I imagined it to be, I do love my sister. Or at least I love the person she used to be before the inheritance imploded all of our lives. Back then, she might not have been my biggest fan, but we were at least equals. Now, when I consider my life, everything can be categorized as either before or after the inheritance. Before the inheritance, I had 2 parents and a sister, After, I lost all 3 of them to greed in the pursuit of power. A part of me kind of understands what my great-grandfather was trying to do when he named Penelope in his will, but I don't think he considered the kind of pressure his stipulations would put on someone who was barely more than a child. He planned her life for her, refusing to allow her the grace to fail when failure is inevitable, because my sister is human. No one can be perfect all of the time. The very first time I pretended to be Penelope was a couple of months after Reginald's death. I found her sobbing and completely inconsolable because she had a math test coming up and she was terrified that she would fail it, ruin her grade point average and lose everything. By that point, my parents had brainwashed her into believing that her entire worth was tied to the inheritance, and she was starting to buckle under the pressure. So I suggested that just that once I could take the test for her. I assured her that no one would know it was me. I even joked that she was so popular that most of the people at our school didn't even know she had a twin. Back then, I thought I was just being a good sister. I had no idea how that one event would change everything. A sound just outside the door has me freezing. Where's the sound? Not breathing for fear that whoever is on the other side will hear me. When I took that first math test for Penelope, I thought it'd be a one-off, but it wasn't. The day I found this room, I'd just finished taking my 3rd pop quiz in 2 weeks while pretending to be my sister, and I'd been so flustered that a teacher would realise it was me and not her that I darted from the room the moment the bell rang, hoping to get somewhere out of sight before the corridor filled with kids. In my haste to find somewhere I could hide, I'd fallen over my feet and straight into this door. When I'd reached for the handle to help pull myself up, it had twisted and the door had opened. This room has been my sanctuary ever since. After I'd hidden in here 10 or so times, I noticed a set of keys hanging from a hook. I wasn't expecting any of them to be the key for the dark room, but there it was, old and tarnished, and just begging me to lock the room and see if anyone noticed. They didn't. Not when I left traps to see if anyone else used the room. Not when I added stuff to make hiding in here a little more comfortable. That was 3.5 years ago, and up until now, no one has ever tried to come in while I've been in here. More noise comes from outside and the door rattles, lurching into motion. I grab my backpack and dart behind the couch, crouching down and clutching my things to my chest as I make myself as small as possible. A long moment passes as I wait, holding my breath, while I listen for the sound of a key in the lock. But nothing happens.
I don't have a key.
Nothing happens. It's okay.
Damn it.
After several long moments curled into a ball in the tiny space behind the couch, I push up onto my knees and peer over the top of the leather. The room is still empty, the door still closed and locked. A relieved rush of air bursts from me and I crawl out from my hiding spot and wilt down onto the couch, the old leather cushions almost swallowing me. Checking my watch, I sigh. I need to get back to class. Not that my attendance really makes a difference, because I miss almost as many of my classes as I actually attend. My situation at GAA is complicated. I'm a registered student and the office principal, and I'm assuming all of the staff know that both Penelope and I attend. In theory, we both have our own class schedules, but only me, Penelope, and our parents know that I switch places with my sister almost on a daily basis to make sure she stays the perfect little student. Sliding my backpack on, I walk to the door, twist the lock open, and slowly turn the handle until the door unlatches. The bell is due to ring any minute, but for now, the hall should be empty, and I probably don't need to sneak around, but old habits die hard. Pushing the door open an inch, I peer around the edge, scanning the hall for anyone watching. It's empty, but I still wait another moment before I open it any further. Creating a gap just big enough to squeeze through, I immediately close the door behind me and lock it. As I slide the key into the inside pocket of my blazer, I draw in a calming breath. Every moment here is a pretense, but I'd rather spend my time pretending I'm invisible than acting like my sister. Stepping away from the door, I drop my gaze to the floor, let my hair shield my face, and blend into my surroundings. Invisible, unimportant, forgettable. Dun, dun, dun. And then look at the beginning of chapter 2. Does it not just want to make you read more?
Yeah. I may be reading that tonight.
Oh, I love that story. It's been. I would like a reread, I think.
Well,
See
we
what
could
you
do a buddy read.
50,000 words longer. I read, it's novella longer than it was.
Well, that's cool. I mean, yeah, because I say I've read the old versions.
It's spicier as well, because when I did the reread, I realised that there is 0 sex in the entire first book, which I don't think that's ever happened before.
Yeah, no, that's like
Did
a
it
lot.
shock you? Did you have a profound moment of
Yes.
what the fuck?
Yeah, I literally sat there thinking, how did I manage to write 50,000 words and they've done nothing? Everybody is still fully dressed. Like, how did that happen? But no,
It's like a
then it
50,000 word build.
Your twin wrote it.
must be what it was. It was when I was going through if I'm going to be a serious writer, I should write less porn and more serious writer things.
And now you've changed it to make it better.
Nah.
Now I've added all the sex back in.
Yeah, because that is being a serious writer. I mean, honestly, sex happens. So, like,
All
in
the
real
time.
life.
Depends how long you've been married and how many kids you've got, to be fair.
I mean,
That
yeah.
too.
But in my books, every woman is bow-legged. It's just sort of a requirement to be inside my books.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
It's good.
At least they know it.
And like we were talking about build-up earlier, those books have got the build-up. It's all there.
I promise the first chapter there is more stuff than just an awful lot of back information packed into one chapter, because apparently I did that.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna read that tonight.
I like those stories.
I'm reading another book, and I have a hard time with bully romance, just because like the high school bully romance trope, I have a difficult time understanding. But at the same time, it fascinates me.
I love bully romance. What are you reading?
I'm reading what is it called? It's a hockey thing. About a girl who has a car accident.
S. Massery. Yeah, it's S. Massery, isn't it?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, it is.
And it's really well written, and like,
love that book.
Yeah, Brutal Obsession. So I'm reading Brutal Obsession, and like in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna like this because it's bully romance, and I already hate the character, but I'm so like invested in the story at the same time, right? Because I'm just like, how is she going to ever make him redeemable?
He's not redeemable. I really enjoyed that book. I read that a while ago, and I actually really love it. I actually have the other problem. I hate when they make the bully redeemable, because they don't have any redeemable qualities. Yeah. I think I like it when they fall in love in spite of how awful they are.
Yeah.
That's the bit that
Nikki, Rachel. Yeah, it's really good. Like I'm really loving it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you have chance.
So he doesn't. So okay. See, now I like that. I like that he's going to stay true to himself. So, but still, I don't know how, because I'm only at the beginning, right? So he's just now starting to like, brutalize her. And I'm thinking, how do you love him? That's how. When I say redeemable, I mean like how. How is she going to make her love him? That's where I'm always like, But I do have a hard time because my brain tells me no, you can't love these books, and at the same time I'm just like really fascinated by it.
I feel like you should read my book Obsession. If you are conflicted over how she loves the character in Brutal Obsession, it'll be interesting to see how you feel about Sebastian.
Okay. I love the name.
Yes.
Sebastian is interesting. I fully love that. That's the one where he feeds. Is he the one that feeds?
No.
her? No. Okay.
Don't spoil. I don't even like to read the
No.
blurb.
No, she's talking about a very particular, really disgusting thing I did in a book that I wrote at the start of the year. And it is appalling. Even I think it's really bad. And he basically, it's a reverse harem. I wanted to have a go at writing one. And before they're all together, one of the characters is very, very, very possessive. And because he is not putting anything in her, he laces her food and her drinks with him.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Not just once, but he literally everything she drinks, touches, eats.
He makes everything for her.
Yeah. He go, well, they have a share.
Like that. Is that bad? What does that say about me?
That you're as fucked up as the rest of us.
Yeah, Rachel's like, which book is that?
It's called Black Sheep, and it's not actually available at the moment. It was in an anthology that came out at the start of the year. The antho's retired, and I haven't republished it yet. So, but I'll let you know. But yeah, he literally puts it into a jar and then gets a little pipette and puts it in everything. And then he warns the others in the group not to eat anything that's hers.
Yeah, because that would be bad for them.
Yeah, I don't think he tells them to start with either. Why does he? But then he does. Or
I can't remember, to be honest. He doesn't tell her. He goes
No.
all the way through the book and she's got no idea.
Oh, I like that. That's really bad though. That's a red flag. It's like a purple flag. Like we're going on a very dark black flag right there.
yeah, that's like
Flashing lights, warning signs.
Sebastian does something that's not as disgusting but equally disturbing. But if you ever read the book, we'll talk about it afterwards.
I'm gonna have to. Please tell me that they do. Yes.
They don't actually eat anything or drink anything that's hers, but I left the story super open in case I wanted to write any more in the world, because it's a happy for now, very open-ended. So I suppose they could, if I wanted to sort of get into an MM situation, they could be really into it. It could be like their thing.
Yeah.
That everybody's. Could be like a sort of a Russian roulette of spunk.
They could see if they can scoop some of hers up into a jar somehow and let's get you in on this too, love.
They get her squirting with a funnel.
Yeah.
I like it. Ready
to catch it.
I mean, you can have a mixture, right? Like all how many are there?
There's 3 dudes and a girl.
So
have a mix up, all of them in it.
A mix up of all 3.
Magical mix.
But why you wouldn't want to eat your own?
Do you know what? I'm reading a book at the moment that's an MM, and they have a kink where they like to sort of catch it and feed it to each other.
Nice. Although the whole,
like in books, I have no taboos. Like it's all good. But could you imagine in real life, like, just throwing your spunk out there and be like, here, catch, open your mouth.
I mean, isn't that what men do when they jerk off into your mouth anyway? Like, catch
man in it.
Yeah.
This is true. Oh, yeah.
To be honest, in real life, it tastes disgusting. It really does taste so unpleasant.
But it actually depends on what they eat.
I don't think it's different. It just tastes rank. It's horrible.
It is, isn't it? Like, I don't.
And with force as well. Like, no.
Yeah, but I mean, it's quite good that it does just shoot to the back of your throat because you can just swallow it quickly.
Oh,
if you don't get shut down like in 5 minutes.
I literally write scenes into books where they do it onto their tongue and then make them wait and swallow it. And even as I'm writing it, I'm sitting there thinking, oh no, that's just disgusting. That'd be coming straight back up again. No. And I don't know about you guys, because you write some fucked up stuff. Like, I'm not super squeamish, but there are some things I just can't. I can't read them. I don't want to write them. I just can't. Spitting is a real thing for me.
I don't get that. I mean, I've seen some porn where the man's like, and my, I mean, I'm about to get real now. Simon's asked me to spit in his mouth before. I told him to fuck off because I'm like, oh, that's disgusting. No.
And also, so we did put that in one of our books.
I think we had
Blondie wrote it, and I was like, ew, God, that's nasty. She's like, I know. I'm like, oh, but you know, it's fiction.
I just can't. Honestly, just the thought of it makes me. It turns my stomach. I just can't. And do you remember when Jade West was like super popular? I mean, she's a lovely human being.
I love her. I love her books.
But she wrote the Dirty Bad Wrong series, and it was by far the most taboo book I'd ever read at the time when it first came out.
Absolutely.
But there's always a scene in her books that turns my stomach. There's just that one scene where I have to go, okay, I've got to skip, because if not, I'm going to be sick and I'm not going to be able to finish this book. And in the first one, Dirty Bad Wrong, it's that he spits in her mouth. And I was just retching. Honestly, I was retching as I was reading it, just going, no. And I have like PTSD when I read her books because I'm waiting for that moment that's going to make me feel green and sick. And in the second one, he's like homeless and they're having it in an alley, and there's trash and there's rubbish, and he picks up a carton of spoilt milk and tips it over her head whilst they're in the throes.
I don't remember that.
I do. I'll never forget it. It's just no, wrong.
I mean, I know we've put a few people off of our books because of page 1 of book 1, which is
isn't it?
No, she's giving him a golden shower.
Oh, right, okay.
I mean, but that's the only time the golden shower happens, and she's not getting one. She's giving one to a client that we don't see again. So it's not like
she's just squatting on him.
This particular client he comes to see her once a year, and he likes to get pissed on.
We almost wrote his book, didn't we? He was almost
in the shower. They do it in the shower. They're all prepared for it. She's got her towels ready. He's ready for it. He's on the floor beneath her, and she's got him like in between her legs, and she's had lots of water to prepare because she knows she needs to piss on him. And then,
so let me just say, so Blondie and I start to talk about writing these books, and she's like, "Oh well, let me just do chapter 1." I was like, "Okay, so this is how I learn that Blondie becomes my, partner in crime." Is that scene?
I'm so like, let me take you and piss on your face.
I'm like, okay, so this just got real. First line, okay, all right, we're in it.
And a relationship was born.
And the relationship was born.
It's a surefire way of weeding out the readers who are going to leave you bad reviews, though, because if they make it past that first paragraph, they're in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's pretty much nothing more disgusting than being pissed on. I mean, even spitting.
Well, you can be shat on.
It's literally about to say that could be poo.
I mean, we're not going to go that far, though. We can't. No.
I won't.
No, I draw the line at poo.
I draw the line. That's shitting. I've never in my life thought that I would have this conversation. Here we are.
On the internet forever.
On the internet. But at least it's in the right direction, I'm not saying the opposite. But no.
You're not saying that you want to be
draw the line, ladies.
Oh yeah, poo on me. That's so
my god. Conversations I did not think I'd be having tonight.
Bingo card. Check.
Oh dear. Oh, and Nikki,
Did we freeze you? No, we're good.
Your sweet taste buds are at the front of your tongue. So does that mean if the spunk goes in and it goes on the front of your tongue that it tastes sweeter?
Maybe it tastes sweeter if it hits the sweet taste buds.
I don't think
And
so.
it's not
it hits
sweet.
all of the taste buds when it goes in there. It like comes out in bits and then it goes everywhere.
So does that mean if your sweet taste buds are up front, does that mean that your front picks up the sweet? So if it's not sweet, your front's not working, or it's just like, ew, what is that?
Oh, maybe.
No, spunk just
Why are we
tastes.
even having this conversation? I don't know. But thank you, Nikki. Because now I'm gonna have to research that.
And she will research the fuck out of that now.
Fair enough.
And yeah, well, okay. So Rachel, the thing about reviews is that, I mean, it's also good to have, honest reviews that talk about what the reader didn't necessarily like. Now, bashing the author is another situation completely. There's nothing wrong with a reader saying, okay, so I read this book. I feel like the writing is not my cup of tea, or,
or it's just
the
not for me.
storyline didn't interest me, or I couldn't latch on to the characters for whatever reason. I mean, that actually doesn't, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, because that way it just like Gemma said, it's a good way for us to say, okay, well, these readers are going to read this review and be like, not for me. But now to go in and say, this author is ridiculous, or this author is, has no talent, or there's a difference between not liking something and that the author not being good at his or her job. There's two different worlds there. It's kind of like your children when they're eating something, like, oh, this is disgusting. Well, no, it's just you don't like it. It's not disgusting. Like,
Everyone has an opinion. You're always going to get bad reviews. You're always going to get people who don't like your stuff. But
so yeah, I always think of snails. I love snails. Well, now I'm a vegan. I don't eat them, but I love snails. And the large majority of the population of this world thinks it's disgusting, but they're actually delicious. So
yeah, we just don't like them.
Exactly. They're not disgusting. You just don't like them.
Makes
it's
sense.
always the fun readers who read 6 or 7 books in a series and publicly announce how much they hate every single one.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'm not enjoying this book, but I'm going to read the next one to see what happens.
Yeah.
So,
it's
thanks.
I have a lovely reader who gives my books a 2-star review every single time on release day, with a review saying she hates it.
Stop reading.
Well, I mean, I would totally market that. I would take every single one of her reviews.
She hated it that much she had to read another one.
Yeah, she hated it that much she's had to read everything on release day. Like, thank you very much for making my release day awesome.
How much she just liked it.
Yeah, I would do an entire post with that and be like, thank you for buying my books.
She probably stole it off the internet as well.
Oh, well, then she's a cunt.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry. God. Right. So this has been fun. This has been wonderful. So we've been live for 6 minutes short of 2 hours.
These are supposed to be a 1-hour deal.
Oh God!
It's never been 1 hour.
We got on. It was never going to be an hour with me.
Well, it's never going to be an hour with us either.
Exactly. I think this might be the longest one. I mean, they're all around 1 hour 30, 1 hour 40, 1 hour something. They're never under an hour. I always share to my friend when the review says about bleaching their eye. I don't know why, but when I just saw the word bleaching, my brain went about bleaching your bum.
Mine went there too. The moment bleaching was mentioned.
Yeah, this is
Sorry, Rachel.
I had to read that twice.
Well, that says where our heads are at, doesn't it, ladies?
Yeah.
Blum beaching? Blum
Blum-
bum bum.
Bum bleaching.
Say that lots of times really quickly.
No. All right, well, Gemma, we really, really appreciate you being here with us today. It was a lot of fun.
It was.
And
It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back sometime. So let us know. I mean, and we can
so
arrange it sometime.
all of our release parties include a live.
Good at lives. I am shit at release parties.
That's fine.
Well,
You joined our last live.
The lives, that's with a great honor for us.
She joined our last live, which was wonderful. Yeah. But yeah, it's a no party deal. We know.
Yeah, I am not great at scheduling posts. If I schedule them today, 3 weeks time, then at some point in the next 6 years, I'll be like randomly posting in the group. I am just awful at it.
I'm awful at it as well. I've just remembered I didn't schedule our posts for the Sugar and Spice takeover at 9 o'clock.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Not just me.
You told me everything was done.
Oh no, it was all prepared, but it wasn't scheduled and done.
Oops.
My bad. I will send a message to Cian Marie and apologise. And it's fine.
Do them.
I'm gonna have to take the flogger out.
You should have. I mean, literally at the beginning of the week, she was like, "All right, should we because Sam, our PA, because we're shit, normally schedules a lot of it. We prepare all the posts and she schedules them for us." And she was like, "Right, should we let Sam know it's ready and she can schedule them?" I was like, no, I'll do it. I've got all week." Even earlier today, I was like, "Oh yeah, I need to remember to do that later before we do our live and shit."
This is me not saying I told you so.
My lovely PA Zoe has to message me when I've posted in a group going, "Guess what? Let's do a cover reveal." She go, "We're doing a cover reveal." I'm like, "Yeah." So did you think about telling me? Have I seen the cover? Do I have the cover? Have we talked about it? I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah, sorry." I am awful. Honestly, so bad.
Yeah.
Same, dude.
It's our brains.
But it's fine. Anyway, so yes, we were letting you go.
Yeah. I need to go and put my children to bed.
Yeah, okay. Mine's just
well, thank you again. And I'm definitely reading the end of this book.
Yeah. Okay, thank you everybody for joining us, and we will see you all again soon.
I was going to say something.